Hey everyone, and welcome back to Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So if you remember last time, we defeated a Brock, and now it's off to Route 3. Which, let me go ahead and take a look at my list really quick to find out what exactly is on Route 3. Over there we will be finding Rattata, Sandshrew, Spearow, and Mankey. So, as we go ahead and tackle this route, I just noticed that I forgot to go over to the trainer school in Viridian City. If you go there, if I remember correctly, you can learn about status conditions. So status conditions are basically, various effects that can happen to your Pokemon. So I can just go ahead and list them all out while we're doing these battles. So probably one of the more common status conditions you're going to be contending with is Paralysis. Now what Paralysis does is it makes it so that every once in a while your Pokemon is unable to move. So that's like the main drawback of Paralysis. But then the other drawback is that Paralysis also halves your Pokemon's speed. So not only do you have a roughly 50-50 chance of not being able to move in a turn, you also are going to go a lot slower than you usually do. Next up would be Poison, as far as common ones go. Poison, like it sounds, will slowly drain your Pokemon's health. And speaking of, we just learned Poison Powder on Oddish. And there are actually two types of poison in Pokemon. One of them is the standard poison, and it will just drain a set amount of HP for every turn. And, let's see, what's this over here? You got 3 Pokeballs, nice. So yeah, one of them is a standard poison, which will drain your Pokemon for a set amount of HP every turn in battle. The other form of it is Venom, which will start off very weak, and then as time goes on, it will deal more and more damage, similar to Poison. Oh, you're a new trainer. I'm a coach trainer. Coach trainers are the ones who stand in various places to train trainers. I'm one of them. We coach trainers are strong, if I do say so myself. If you want to try out your strength, you should definitely battle us. So yeah, this is another new thing in this game. We have coach trainers. So, like he just said, coach trainers are trainers that are stronger than your typical trainer that you're going to find on a route. And if you want to just like have a little bit of a tougher match, have a match that'll give you a bit more experience, go fight all the coach trainers. Like, they're not terribly difficult to defeat, but they're a little bit better than your average trainer. Like, yeah, this guy has a level 11 Bulbasaur. That's much higher than pretty much all the other levels we've been facing so far. So anyway, back to my explanation about Venom. So Venom itself will only appear as the word poison when it appears on screen when your Pokemon is affected by it. But it will start off pretty weak. It will only do a little bit of damage at first, and then I believe every turn after that it will deal about twice as much damage. So it starts off weak, and if the Pokemon with Venom stays in battle for a long time, it eventually will become extremely powerful. And it'll get up to the point where it can drain like half or more of a Pokemon's HP in a single turn. It gets wild. And in this game, unlike older Pokemon titles, because this is not the first game to do this, Poison will not continue to deal damage to your Pokemon as you walk in the overworld. So if you're poisoned, it'll only happen in battle. Next up, and also to get rid of Paralysis, as I'm going through all this, use a Paralyze Heal. To get rid of Poison, use an Antidote. Pretty self-explanatory, I think. So moving on to the next one, we have Burn. Now, Burn has the same effect as Poison on the surface. It does a little bit of damage every turn. However, like Paralysis, Burn has an added secret effect. It will... You know what, I might switch out from Pikachu because this Bulbasaur's kind of kicking my butt, and having Leech Seed on me kind of sucks. Anyway, aside from dealing damage every single turn that you're in battle, Burn will also have your physical attack power. So that one's pretty rough. If you are facing a powerful, like a physically powerful Pokemon, I highly suggest trying to burn them because it will cripple them a lot. And then you have, next up would be Frozen. Frozen, and also Burn, there are burn heals to heal burns, as you might expect. So anyway, the Frozen status is pretty rare. Like, chances are you might not even get frozen in the entirety of the game. It happened to me last time twice in a row, but it only happened 2 times in the entire playthrough. So Frozen, as you might guess, freezes your Pokemon. And it can freeze your Pokemon, I believe, anywhere from 2 to 5 turns. So eventually your Pokemon can thaw out by itself. but until then, you're not able to do anything at all. And you can cure Frozen via Ice Heal. And then finally, the last one that comes up is Confusion, which is another one of the more common ones, honestly. So with Confusion, your Pokemon has a chance of, and hey, he gave us a revive. So with Confusion, your Pokemon has a chance of not only not acting the way that you want them to in a turn. If they get confused and they succumb to the confusion, they will deal damage to themselves. And Confusion is also the only status in the game that can be compounded onto another status. So say for instance you get paralyzed, you can't be put to sleep, you can't be burned, you can't be frozen, but you can be confused. And same for all the other ones. You can be frozen and confused, you can be burned and confused, but you can't be burned or any of the other statuses besides confused. So a pretty popular strategy is something called Parafusion, where you paralyze the other Pokemon and then you confuse them. So you basically have 2 opportunities for the other Pokemon to fail their move, and 1 opportunity for them to not only fail their move, but to also hurt themselves. And full heals, like I have brought up briefly before, like when we got our pewter crunchies, I think that's what they're called. A full heal will take care of any of those status effects, no matter what they are, including confusion. Other ways to heal these status effects. Let's see what this item is really quick. Got a potion, yeah. So other ways to heal these status effects. To heal confusion in battle, all you have to do is switch your Pokemon out. When you bring them back in, they won't be confused anymore. To heal Frozen, like I said, all you have to do is wait a few turns, and then eventually your Pokemon will thaw out. As far as Paralysis, Burn, and Poison, there we go. Those will not heal naturally unless you have a good amount of affection with your Pokemon. If you have good affection with Pokemon, you have a slight chance of your Pokemon being able to just shake off whatever is ailing them. So say you get a really high affection with your Pikachu, and your Pikachu gets burned, or more likely gets poisoned. Pikachu will just be able to shake the poison out of itself, and it'll be totally fine. Don't ask me how it works, it just kind of does. And then another thing to note, I'm pretty sure this applies to all of the Pokemon in this game, if I'm correct. Mankey. I need Mankey. Mankey is actually a Pokemon that I want to add to my team. So you cannot paralyze electric type Pokemon. You cannot burn fire type Pokemon. You cannot freeze ice type Pokemon. And you cannot poison type Pokemon. At least I'm pretty sure you can't poison types. But I'm pretty sure those are all the rules. Like you can't poison, like you can't do status effects that adhere to a certain Pokemon's type. So like Paralysis is considered an electric type kind of move. Burn is considered a fire type, etc. So if a Pokemon shares a type as the status ailment, that Pokemon cannot be affected by that status ailment, if that makes sense. And hey guys, we just caught an Oddish. So yeah, I just wanted to start off this episode by explaining all of that because, like I said, I forgot to go to the trainer school earlier and talk about that. And I figure what better time to, give a little bit more information about some basics than when I'm fighting a few trainers. So Mankey, fighting type Pokemon, an agile Pokemon that lives in trees. It angers easily and will not hesitate to attack anything. I really, really like Mankey, and I think I'm actually going to use Mankey as part of my core team, which is why I was really excited when I first found it. So we're going to finally have our first party change. And I guess while I'm here, I may as well favorite all these little folks that I have, all my unique Pokemon. And then once we get over to Mankey, we'll go ahead and favorite that, and then add it to our party. Hope you guys enjoy this awesome favoriting section. So now that I'm speaking of Mankey and adding it to my party, when it comes to party makeup, I highly recommend, first and foremost, getting a party of diverse Pokemon. Like, get a bunch of diverse types. Try your very best not to have more than one of a very specific type. Like, if you already have a grass/poison type Pokemon, don't have another Pokemon that's either grass or poison. If you have a normal flying Pokemon, don't have another Pokemon that's either normal or flying. Like, just, you want to have as much type coverage as you can, because you're going to come across a bunch of situations where a bunch of different types are going to be useful. So we're going to go ahead and remove Oddish from our party. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And then we're going to add Mankey. So what Mankey adds to the team is fighting type. And fighting type is good against... I'm not paying attention to where I'm going. Fighting type, like I mentioned in a previous episode, is good against the normal type. And fighting type is also good against rock type. And I believe there's at least... Fighting type is also good against dark type, but there are no dark type Pokemon in the entirety of Generation 1. There are types for every single other typing in this entire game, but no dark types, which I find rather interesting. Because they retroactively... Okay, so let me explain a little bit more. In the original Generation 1, there were no steel types, no dark types, and no fairy types. Steel and dark type were added in Generation 2, and fairy type wasn't added all the way until Generation 6. However, Gen 1 Pokemon have been retroactively outfitted with those types, but dark type is not one that has been retroactively outfitted. So you have steel type Pokemon in Generation 1, namely Magnemite and Magneton, and then you have fairy type Pokemon in Generation 1, namely like Wigglytuff and Clefairy, and you know, those kinds of Pokemon. There are no dark type retroactive Pokemon in Generation 1, which I find very interesting. Its body is dry. When it gets cold at night, its hide is said to become coated with a fine dew. And Sandshrew is a ground type. I'm debating if I want to use Sandshrew, because I honestly don't think Sandshrew is all that good, even though I do like Sandshrew. Sandshrew is a ground type, which will be extremely helpful for an upcoming gym, but I'm just not sure if I actually want to use it quite yet. Let me see. I mean, if I don't use Sandshrew, I'm only going to have 2 Pokemon that I'm actually using. So, Sandshrew would offer to the party effectiveness against the electric type. So, currently we have an electric type, a fighting type, and if we have Sandshrew, we'll have a ground type. So, with this kind of party makeup, we will be able to combat rock type, water type, flying type, electric type, dark type, that's not in this game, steel type, fighting is good against steel type, and ground is good against poison type. So having Sandshrew on the party for now can be a good idea. I may not keep it for the long term though, in all honesty, as much as I like Sandshrew. I know I keep going back and forth by accident in all these menus. I just keep... Oh god, it's only level 3? Holy... Oh. Wow, that's so low. I might need to grind a little bit just to get this this Sandshrew up. But yeah, there should be one more Pokemon around here that I can catch. I don't remember which one it is though. Let me check. We have Sandshrew, Spearow, Rattata. Oh no, that is everything. Okay, so I caught the 2 new Pokemon that are on this route. So yeah, when it comes to making your party, just get a bunch of different types. I would say that's the most important thing for you to do. Don't worry about, I mean, unless you're going to try to be competitive, don't worry about your specific Pokemon being the best versions of, you know, that type in the game. Like, don't worry about having only legendaries or only the strongest fire types or whatever. Just worry about getting type coverage in the first place. And second, I would say, more so than focusing on getting good Pokemon, focus on getting Pokemon that you actually like. You know? Play the game with Pokemon that you enjoy playing with. Like, I know a lot of Pokemon share a lot of moves, and some of them can be rather interchangeable with each other. But the true joy and fun of Pokemon in general, like as a whole, is that this is a game that allows you to create your own customized party of 6, or in this game only 5. Because, well, actually no, that's not true. You can take Pikachu out of your party. Like, don't believe that you can't have Pikachu. You actually can take Pikachu out. So you can customize your team of 6 Pokemon however you want, and in this game from a choice of 150 Pokemon, 151 if you have Mew, 152 if you have Mew and Meltan. Technically 153 then, because you know what, whatever. Let's not go into the semantics of it. There are so many Pokemon that people relate to for so many reasons. Don't feel like you need to pigeonhole yourself into only using the best Pokemon all the time to make this hyper competitive, like, super good team. Sorry, I'm just gonna grind a tiny bit. Wow, how? I swear that hit before the attack happened, but that's fine. So don't feel pressure to use only the best Pokemon ever, you know? Find Pokemon that you like and just use them. And if you're returning to the series after a hiatus, or if you're a veteran who's played every single game, and this is like your 5th visit to Generation 1, I would recommend trying out a team that you've never tried before. Because even in the original 150, there were so many teams that you could try that you probably have never even thought about before. Like, yeah, I've used Mankey and Nidoran before, but that's no guarantee that I'm going to use them for the entire game, you know? And Pokemon is just all about having fun, exploring, customizing, trying new things, and just playing the game how you want to play it. That's all that's important. Just have a good time, you know? So I'm going to see if I can catch this Spearow really quick. Yeah, get a little bit more experience, and then we'll move on. And then I think I'm going to call it when we get to Mount Moon, because I really don't want these episodes to all be, like, pushing an hour long. Like, I understand that, you know, longer episodes all in one means I can cover more ground in, you know, single videos. But at the same time, I know that the attention span is not going to go that far. Like, I don't even know if people will stick around for a whole 20 minutes of me playing this episode. So, and I completely understand that. Like, when I see a video and it's like, oh god, this is 50-something minutes long, why would I ever want to watch this? I totally understand that. So what I'm going to do, I think from here on out, is try to clear one area per episode and then call it at that. And these past couple of times I haven't been doing that. Like, the first episode I did what? Well, it took me a long time too, but I did Pallet Town, Viridian City. Let's see what. No, not Rattata. Did Pallet Town, Viridian City. We did Route 1. And then the second episode, we did Route 22, Route 2, Viridian Forest, and Pewter City. All in one episode. That's a lot. Also, we just got a lure there behind the bush. So yeah, I'm going to try to keep everything more focused. And if we can get through one area per episode, I think that'll be pretty good progress. This kid is famous, the shorts kid. I like shorts nice and comfy while you're wearing shorts too. Everybody knows that kid who's played Pokemon for over the years. Sorry if you can hear me flipping through my pages. I'm trying to find any notes. Okay, so there's only one more item in this route as far as I know. There may be hidden items around here, but I took notes on the hidden items later on when I found out how to keep track of those. So I may not find it this time around, and my apologies for that if I don't. Does Mickey have any fighting type moves yet? No, she doesn't. Okay, let's just go out to Pikachu. But yeah, so like I said, do not try to rely just on one Pokemon. I know I'm doing that right now, but that's only because I'm not letting myself grind, because I'm trying to just kind of get this moving along. So I'm letting Pikachu do a lot of the fights. Ah, shoot, I should have done double kick. I don't even know what I was thinking about. But yeah, so I think, oh wow, okay, that's still one shot. I mean, that's surprising. 8 levels higher than it actually. But yeah, so I hope you guys are enjoying not only this Let's Play, but Pokemon Let's Go in general. I definitely had some skepticism about this game when I first heard about it. I mean, when I very, very, very first heard about it, I was generally excited, but then the more I saw of it, and the more I learned about how it was made a little bit more casual, like, here, actually, this is something I meant to talk about last time. If you notice, this is only for veteran players, new people might not realize this, there are no abilities. Now, for anybody who doesn't know, abilities are things that Pokemon just inherently have depending on what species they are. So say Sandshrew will have different abilities than a different ground type Pokemon like a Geodude or something. So each Pokemon had a chance of having one of 2 abilities. Sometimes they would have the chance of getting a third hidden ability. And those abilities would change the dynamics of battle depending on what they are. For instance, I think a popular, like a common ability for Diglett is the ability Arena Trap. And what Arena Trap does is it makes it impossible for the opposing trainer to switch out their Pokemon or to run away from a wild battle. Basically, it traps your Pokemon in the arena so you can't change them out no matter what you do. And abilities just kind of did stuff like that. Like, one of the ones that I saw most commonly come into action was Geodudes, and there are like a lot of Rock-type Pokemon would have the ability Sturdy. And Sturdy is an ability that lets you retain 1 HP after you take a hit from a move that would otherwise have knocked you out. So stuff like that. Like, there were hundreds of abilities. Well, I'm not actually sure if there were hundreds. There are a lot of abilities out there. And it added an extra layer of strategy to the game, learning which Pokemon had which abilities and how you could act to circumvent those abilities. They completely take those out of this game, so you never have to worry about any of them. Which, personally, when I first found that out, I was like, oh, that's kind of... It makes things a lot more simple. But then, when I actually started playing the game, I was like, oh, okay. I actually don't mind that at all. I don't really miss the abilities, because more often than not, they kind of... Let's see what Rattata finds over here. I think it's the raspberry. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, so like for me, it was just a matter of the abilities would just make battles take longer. What is this? Did I take note of this one? Oh, this is a revive as well? I did not write this one down. That's interesting. But yeah, so abilities were just things that would make they would just make battles take longer. And it kind of sucked. And I don't know, I just wasn't a fan. So their removal doesn't really mean anything to me. Okay, so this is Route 4, but on this side of Route 4, we can't catch any Pokemon. I'm still going to update the HUD so that you can see which Pokemon are on Route 4 from here. But I'll just go ahead and say their names after we get through Mount Moon, where you can actually find all those Pokemon. And in the meantime, we have another coach trainer right here. And after this battle, this coach trainer is going to give us what could potentially be a pretty good TM. It's called Payday. And Payday is a TM that is a normal type move, and you'll see Meowth use it most likely. And yeah, it's a normal type move, and it throws coins at the enemy Pokemon. And that may sound detrimental because it sounds like you're throwing your own money at the opponent, but you're actually not. The Pokemon just kind of takes coins from some random place that doesn't exist and throws them at the enemy. And then at the end of the battle, you get to pick up the coins that are scattered on the ground. So it's really like you can do damage and make money at the same time. And a bonus, if the opponent uses Payday, you still get the coins that they threw at you after the match is over. So it's like once you see after we beat Meowth, we're going to get a little bit of extra money because Meowth is using Payday. So if you ever find yourself needing like a little steady drip feed of money, just teach a Pokemon Payday and have that Pokemon keep using Payday over and over again. I think I did that a lot when I was younger, playing Generation 1 and Generation 2, because I always felt like I didn't have enough money, so I was like, hey, I'll just use Payday, and it was great. It was a good time. Alright, Sandshrews up to level 6. I should probably do a little bit of grinding off screen so I can get Sandshrew and Mankey up to snuff, because I don't want them to be under level going into Mount Moon. Oh wait, did it say it? I think it said I picked up an extra 60 Pokédollars or something like that. That was a great battle. Take this as thanks. 1057 Payday. Alright, and then before we head on in, we can actually get 3 more things. No, 2 more things. One of them is just an Easter egg that I wrote down. So, one of those things is to the left of the Pokemon Center. I think we have to fight this guy. So, before we go over there, let's actually hop in here and talk to Nurse Joy and get some healings. Get some healing going on. And since we're in the Pokemon Center, veterans will remember that this is the place where you can buy a Magikarp. And Magikarp, I feel, is a decent investment for right now. You can catch Magikarp later on in the game, but if you want Magikarp to evolve, buying it right now is the best way to do it. Especially since in this game you never get the fishing rod. So there's no other opportunity for you to get a Magikarp before you can learn how to surf, which doesn't come until about halfway through the game. So Yeah, if you talk to this guy over here on the left side of the Pokemon Center, he will offer you a Magikarp for 500 Pokédollars. Just gonna go ahead and say yes and buy the Magikarp. And I think I'll go ahead and keep it in my party, especially since this game makes it easier to level up Pokemon without, you know, putting yourself at risk all the time. So yeah, I'm gonna put my Magikarp in my party. And eventually it will evolve into the infamous Gyarados, one of the strongest Pokemon in history, honestly. Gyarados is extremely powerful. Dang it, I keep pressing wrong buttons by accident. Alright, so let's go ahead and favorite the Magikarp really quick. And then we'll add it to the party. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually don't plan to use Gyarados, but I also need a Gyarados, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to get it out of the way while I can. Since, like I said, it's not going to be that much effort to train up a Gyarados, or train up a Magikarp to become a Gyarados. So I think... No, this guy actually doesn't battle you. Why is he over here? From far away because I want a Pokemon I can ride on. That's right, you can ride on certain... Oh, okay, yeah, you can ride on Onix. I was wondering about that. So this over here should be a escape rope. Yep, there we go. Maybe I could just pick it up instead of looking at my notes, you know. And the little thing that I said was an Easter egg? Look up there. See? Meowth. I think if I can get Rattata out of the way, you can interact. Yep, it's a sleeping Pokemon. Gee, I wonder why there would be a Meowth up there. Doesn't seem like a Pokeball would do very much while it's in this state. But yeah, so this is the entrance to Mount Moon, and I'm going to go ahead and cut off the episode here. Like I said, I'm going to go off screen and grind for a little bit to get my Pokemon up to snuff. And then next time, we will get across Mount Moon, the first actual dungeon in the game. I hope you guys have a good one. Bye.